Hey, YouTube, how you doing, man? All right. This year there will be some really huge games coming down, and by the end of the year there'll be new platforms on the x86 architecture coming from Intel and AMD. But there is a opportunity in that the previous gen or current gen AMD systems should only go down in price for the next few months. So that'll afford you the opportunity if you A already have a AMD system or B want to get into an AMD system to show you how to A spend wisely and B get the best for your money. So, without further ado, I'll let my daughter say hello to YouTube
Hi.
and we'll get started. Okay, so the base of any system, someone might tell you it's going to be the motherboard, it's going to be the CPU, it's going to be the graphics card, but the base of any system is going to be your power supply. Okay? Now, when you're talking about power supplies, you got to look at a few things. A, if you go Newegg and you look for power supplies on Newegg, you're going to get a whole heap and set of what are going to be called, just look for them right now. Oh, it's right there. It's the first one. Roswell. Apply. Some of these are better than others. The Hive series, I've never had an issue with these Hive series power supplies. Stay away from anything with like lighting from these off brands because it might be gimmicky and they might have spent money on that instead of better components for the power supply. But the Hive series, look at that, 4 stars, 1,090 reviews, so $104. It's 38% off, right? So this is what would be a basis to start with anyway. If you're building a modern system, 850 watts. The only reason I'm saying that is if you're going to be a gamer, graphics cards are only going to increase in terms of power draw. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Shit. Yeah, come. Sorry about that. That was tending to my daughter for a second. So let's keep going. But there are other choices other than this off-brand, right? Now, if you look here, you'll see that Corsair, EVGA, and Cooler Master have the highest number of hits. Those are not all like individual units. Those are some resellers selling the same units, right? Cooler Master are usually a little bit cheaper, but they're not bad. So these guys don't have everybody, right? So what you're going to see is a lot of people like to use these ones. which is Corsair. Now, their RMX series are good. Look how much they cost, though. That's $229. $229. Oh, my God. Right? But these guys don't make their own power supplies. I forget who makes their power supplies for them. And actually, their line is what separates who makes what, eh? For example, the HX1200 is made by a different manufacturer than the HX1200i. Yes. You can't, well, the current HX1200i seems to have very sanguine reviews, but I can say that as a owner of one of the first generation units of the HX1200, that they were, man, oh my God, bulletproof. Basically, it's still running in my main system today. So now you get into things like EVGA, and again, their power supplies, some are better than others. Like, look how much a Supernova 1000 costs, $306, right? But then the G5 is only $209. It's not even the fact that it's fully modular. This is probably made by a different company. So this probably has a higher quality manufacturer. Now, again, like I said, $850 should be your minimum, okay? Unless you're looking for a APU-based system. But even if you're going with an APU-based system, at some point when you have that APU, you will jump in joy when you put a graphics card in that system. So again, to avoid having to buy a power supply unit for your potential graphics card down the road, get at least 850 watts. Okay, now, we've looked at that. We've looked at these power supplies. And the second most important thing is your motherboard. Your motherboard is all about what you want. Okay? Do you want to have the latest and the greatest of everything? Well, then you get yourself an Intel system with a Z690 and whatever. But there are hiccups with that system. Like, for example, the latest one that I heard was that you can't play 4K Blu-ray if you have a Intel 12th gen CPU in your system. And that might seem like a small matter, but there are thousands of us, millions of us, with DVDs. I myself have a portable DVD player for when I want to throw a DVD into my computer. I even have a software program to take advantage of it. That's not the point. The point is that these are only going to get a little bit cheaper as time goes on. So, let's start on the low end. Okay? And you could do 4000 series, but there's no point in doing that at this point. Okay? And let's do by lowest price. So, you got all of these here. All of these. Of all of these boards that you see here, I wouldn't buy this one. No. Would I buy this one? Probably not. Would I buy this one? No. This is the one they use in they use these in pre-builts. This board right here. There's only one reason I wouldn't get these boards. It's a different one for that one. But when you get into these prices, this is ridiculous, right? Because I'm not going to spend $150 on a B550 Micro 80 TX board to give me. There's no expansion potential, right? So look at this. Okay, this is a refurbished one. What does that mean for a motherboard? How do you destroy a motherboard? Yeah. And the audio issue is a small matter. Oh, slot not working. Oh boy. See, read the reviews. Read the reviews on these things. See, this is a Gaming Plus. The carbon is $300. So this is 147. Yeah, there's a problem with that board. So I wouldn't even bother. Here you go. It might seem like a lot of money. It's $200, but it's MSI B550. Oh no, not this one. No. Because you don't want to have a lack of Wi-Fi already on the board. Because you don't want to waste the slot on a Wi-Fi card. You can get a board that already has it, right? So here you go. The Asus TUF. As much as I'm confused about the TUF, because TUF used to be Asus's top brand. That's been replaced by like Maximus, Strix, and whatever. Strix is like mid-grade, but TUF, these boards are made pretty good. So it's $204 for the B550 variant, Micro ADX, right? So let's see if they have. They only have. Oh, look, here's the ATX version, $199. It's cheaper, right? But it doesn't have Wi-Fi. See, that's why you got to be careful. Now, I would get this board, but I would shop around. So let's do a search on it, right? This is the other thing that you do when you're looking for parts. You don't just sit on one site. Search Google for this. Oh, look, $191 at Amazon. Oh, that's not a bad price. $188 at Newegg. That's the Intel version, though. See how they do that to you? Yeah. So you can get it for $191. It's Prime 1 day. Get it tomorrow. Sold by Amazon, right? So, oh, but you see, that's the thing. This one is not the Wi-Fi. It's not. Where's the rear I/O? See, this one isn't the Wi-Fi. You gotta be so careful. So careful. So careful, see? So indeed, the one we were looking at was the best choice to begin with, $199, right? You even have 4 interest-free payments of $50, so you could take 2 months to pay it and be happy. So we got our 850-watt power supply, and this thing only needs one 8-pin. But let's say you want to go mid-grade, because, you know, that's for the beginning. It's still $200, but it's still nice because it gives you a good amount of future proofing. This board, stay away from this board. It's very popular. It's the #1 board on Amazon. But here is the issue with this board. This board, you have this 16 slot here. And that one, they're connected to the CPU. Everything else here is connected to each other. So if you plug something in here, this doesn't work. If you plug something in here, all 3 of these don't work. If you plug a M2 in here, all of these don't work. They had to put a Wi-Fi adapter on there. And since that takes 1 or 2 slots, who knows? I'm telling you. All right, just to prove it to you, let's look at the manual, okay? So let's do the copy, and let's look up the manual. Oh, come on. We want manual. Yeah, there we go, manual, okay? You got to go on the ROG website usually. Manual. Gaming Wi-Fi. Let's get English. All right. And we want to see. Here we go. Are you ready for this? PCIe 16 number 2 shares bandwidth with PCI Express 1, 2, 3. When PCI Express runs in ×4 mode, all the rest of these will be disabled. PCI Express ×2 will run at ×1 when PCI Express 1, 2 is occupied. When you put an M2 in this slot, you lose 2 SATA slots, okay? Now, that wouldn't be so bad if we didn't live in a world where, for example, people like to use capture cards. On a motherboard like this motherboard, you would put your capture card on. Hold on, let's get it right here. That second slot. But when you put it in that second slot, and this was the previous boards, because the previous boards didn't come with Wi-Fi. So if you're relegated to using Wi-Fi, and you had a capture card and a friggin' Wi-Fi card, or God forbid a USB card or something in one of these slots here, your capture card would be running at ×1. ×1 on an ATX board. Anyhow, let's just keep going. Because, all their boards aren't bad. MSI makes good boards too. But, well, we're just going to leave that alone. Okay, so, but let's say you want to go high end now, right? Let's say you want to go high end. X570. Here you go. $399, right? That's the E board, right? Now, you see this board, you don't have that problem. Both of those 16 slots runs at ×8 ×8. Or you could do ×8 ×4 ×4 if you wanted. Or you could have all the top run at ×4 and that one run at ×0. The bottom slot supports PCI Express ×4. Yes. But you got to pay basically double to get that kind of flexibility, right? Now, this board also, you don't lose any of your SATA ports. You don't lose any of your SATA ports. This will power any CPU you put in it, right? So you don't have to worry about them kind of things. But there's even better. If you want to have the creme de la creme of the AM4 platform, look, X570S. Now look at this. Like, that is obscene, okay? That's obscene too. Okay? That was the other Strix board. Now, they don't even have it. So, here we go. Let's do the board that I would get if I was going to build a balls to the wall killer AMD system. Look at this. Like, just look at it. These guys have a YouTube channel, so you can even, like, okay, so let's go through it. So the top M2 is connected to CPU. The top PCI Express ×16 slot is connected to the CPU. The second M2 slot is connected to the chipset. The third M2 slot is connected to the chipset and connected to the first 4 slot on the third PCI Express times 16 slot. The fourth PCI Express M2 slot is connected to 4 SATA ports over here. What does that mean? Okay. There's something called direct storage that I think it's already on the current Xbox, and it's coming to Windows 11 at some point. But what direct storage means is, you know how NVMe drives had that stupid high sequential write and read speeds? Windows direct storage will allow games and applications to take advantage of the NVMe speeds. So it's one of the differences in Windows 10 and Windows 11. When you're moving like game files, like Epic doesn't like to play nice with previous installs. So sometimes what you have to do if you have more than one drive is have more than one Epic drive, so that when you reinstall Windows, you can just move shit around. You understand? Anyhow, it doesn't matter. With Windows 10, I was seeing about 1.9 maximum read and write speeds. With Windows 11, 2.9 to 3.5. That's gigabytes per second. So, you know, like, some of these games are 100 gigabytes. So, anyhow, it doesn't matter. But here's what it is. Power button. Reset button. Oh, look at that. It has a one of those what do you call it? A postcode. Sorry. Look at all the fan headers on this thing. It has 2 USB 3.0, and a lot of cases today support the USB 3.0, the 20 pin or the 19 pin connector, the big one. This has 2 of them. What is? Oh yeah, it has RGB, but you can turn it off. There's a switch to turn it off. Like, this is like, you know. Now, would I spend 500? But if I did this, which is 4 interest-free payments of $142, I might. Now the shipping, it's $30. You can't get that, because you know why? This is Newegg, Canada. Canada's where I'm broadcasting from. But this board will come from California. Yep. That's where it's going to come from. You'll see when you get the shipping manifest. Oh my goodness, yeah, I'm in. So, but this thing is like, there's no fan on the chipset, and it doesn't go over 70 degrees. Now, having said that, you got to have a pretty good case. Well, like, if you want a balls to the wall, so any CPU, you know, even if it's the 5950X, the 5900X, the 5800X, those are all great CPUs for this motherboard. There is the upcoming, what's it called, 5800X 3D or whatever. This thing will probably be nice for that. Now, if you wanted to buy it directly from Canada, look at this. Look at this. Look at it. Shipped from Canada. Look how much they want for it. $650. Because they bought one, they're trying to resell it. See, that's why. But these boards, the X570. So let's do X570S. Because all of them are like the ultimate to what the board vendors would make. Like, look at this arrow. If you're building a white case, look at this. Like, look at that. Look at that. Look all the stuff they write up on it. right? X570S, man. I'm not joking. Oh, look, even the Tomahawk here is $369. That's not a bad price. But, the IO is compromised. This is like a sideways upgrade, The good ones, though, like the ones like the Max, this Crosshair. I don't buy gigabyte boards because, and I'm not making this up, every system that I have built using gigabyte had some kind of problem or issue that was so, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, I'll just tell you. I had this board, the X470 Gaming 7. Man, that shit has so many lights. It had more lights than a Christmas tree. Okay? Let's do a Google search on it. Right? I'll show you what I mean. So many lights. Oh my God. Gaming 7. Gaming 7. It was like their top end board. Right? It was their top end board. There it is. Gaming 7 Wi-Fi. They're not going to show you. Yeah, there it is right there. Look, everything lights up. Everything. Right? So, this board, if you updated the BIOS on the board, it had two BIOSes. There was a certain BIOS that if you updated it, the board would no longer boot. Unless you remove the battery. You remove the battery? What? That's like to clear your CMOS. But you've updated your BIOS. That's all you've done. It's the only board I've known. And I tell you, I spent months trying to figure out what the hell was wrong with the board. Okay. Another one, it just stopped working one day. Like, it's not one or two of these systems I've built. So, But anyhow, if you want the balls to the wall, this one doesn't look too bad. This carbon. It only has two PCI Express 16 slots, but multi-GPU is no longer a thing. But this will be great for a capture card, on a high-end graphics card. And then you can fill 1, 2, 3, 4 M2 slots, right? And have no SATA drives, just pure M2, and, lots of storage. That's the beauty of, wow, look at this one, right? That's that same board we were looking at, but with a EK water block on it, with a pump, actually. Well, yeah. So, now if you want a graphics card, the only graphics card that's worth its salt, look at this, $1,000 for a 6600 XT, is like, yeah, one of these. Right, $599, $600 for, What I would do with this card too, just to be on the safe side, is when you get this card, remove the shroud and check the thermal paste. Again, it's gigabyte, so you got to be real careful. This graphene nano lubricant bullshit, you got to be real careful. See, yeah, and this guy, plain black screen, you see? And that could be due to overheating. I'm not joking. I bought a Vega 64 from Gigabyte. Man, it was like $400 less than all the rest of them. Kept getting the shutdown. I was like, what the hell, man? I took that thing apart, man. It had the, some of the heat sinks are ribbed. Well, 90% of the heat paste was in the ribs of that thing, man. And the rest of it was left to try to cool the GPU. Okay? After I put some thermal paste on it, knocked to I think an NTH1 at the time, a 25-degree drop in temperature, max temperature. I'm not joking. So no more 90 degrees, shut it down, right? So you got to be real careful with some of these manufacturers. But Gigabyte are pretty good. If you're going to get an AMD card, the best vendors or best brands are Sapphire and MSI. And Asus. But all these cards are stupidly overpriced. So let's see what our favorite retailer in Canada has to say. Let's look at video cards. Let's do desktop. Powered by AMD. There you go, $629 for the Gigabyte Radeon 111. $649. See, look, they're all there. This one is the best one right here, $549. That's what you want. That's what you want, man. So you know you're gonna spend about $600 to get a half decent graphics card, right? And that's gonna give you better performance than anything below it. The 3050, the 6500 XT, any previous gen card like Vega 64 or the 2060. So, you know, that's the real thing. But the 6600, trust me, is the only card that you want to buy. Now, you want to get some storage. So let's get some storage, and what we want is NVMe. You could get Samsung if you want. You could get WD if you want. You could even get this Realtek if you want. $250 for 2 terabytes. Not bad. $279 for this one. And this one is, oh, it's a ×4, right? That's not bad. 1 terabyte for $129. But 1 terabyte is $124 from a brand you know, right? So, with these, until direct storage is a real thing, it's really difficult to differentiate between, you know, one or the other. This one has a heatsink. This one doesn't. They want to charge you $90 for the heatsink. Yeah, look at this one. Whoa, $289. That's not bad. All right. So, here you go right here. You get you one of these. And this is whether you're building the budget system or you're building the balls to the wall. And you're going to be so happy with the money you saved, with the performance that you feel. Yeah. Look at that. 25 reviews, 5 stars. If I went and looked on this thing online, you would have nothing but yeah. Trust me. There's other ones on Amazon like Team and the other ones. The Intel 6 on 700 series used to be good, but they got too expensive. If you want ultimate performance, though, that you're going to feel, the Seagate 530 is probably the fastest NVMe drive right now. If you're into games and applications and things like that. So, you know, there you go. But I wouldn't bother with SATA because SATA is just as expensive. And you need a cable, then you need a cable to your power supply. Where one of these, man, it's like a gum stick, man. You just stick that in, screw it in, and Bob's your uncle. As long as you got a magnetic screwdriver, you're good. All right, so We got some storage. We need a case. We need a case, man. Now, if you're going for the budget, look for this one. But the one without the RGB fans. Actually, it doesn't matter. You get any case that has this kind of design. Yeah, this one, $90. Is that mesh? That's not mesh, so I wouldn't get that. If a modern graphics card is pulling 400 watts from the wall, you don't want a case that's not ventilated to try to cool that, right? I looked at Deep Cool because they're usually the least expensive when it comes to cases. Why can't cases sometimes are so hard to find, even though they're right in front of you. So if you're building a smaller system, you get one of these, $50. Not too bad. Micro ATX powers, and you're good. If you're getting a balls to the wall system, these aren't bad. If you don't like white, you can get black. Right? And, these are usually not too bad. Right? This one, how much is it? It's $169, which is not a bad price. Right? Look at that, $114 for the black. There you go. $114. And you're not going to be hampered with anything building in this case. Right? Look. Yeah. You get two fans with this, right? One at the front, one at the back. So $114, not bad. Right? If you want like the best case, you can go one up to the 5000D, right? Because what you want to have is a case that supports that side mount. Because the ultimate cooling potential that you would have in a case like this, okay? Think of this in a concept. You have a loop. You have your front as your intake. You have the bottom where you can mount fans on the bottom. You probably put two fans down there as intake. You have the top with a radiator as exhaust. And you have this side with a radiator as exhaust, with the radiator on the near side and the fans on the other side. The reason you do that is so that you can mount your pump rad, right, reservoir, right on there. Yes, man. And then it's being cooled by the air coming from the fan, the air from the bottom. All of the heat is exhausting from the top side or the front side of the radiators through the fans, leaving the inside of the case nice and cool, but it's getting direct airflow because of the front, the bottom, and the exhaust in the back. Yeah, that's why you want one of these kind of cases. This one is $195. You're relegated to 360 with these. But if you got one of these, yeah, this is always out of stock. Always. You can put two systems in this thing. Right? But this has that principle. Right? Let's see if they show it to you. I'm pretty sure they show it to you right there. Look, you see that? up to 480 millimeter, right? On the bottom, up to 360 millimeters. This is radiators I'm talking. 480, 360, but you can put a 420 up here. As long as you don't put like a 480 up here. So, yeah, man. That one case to rule them all, you know? So, yeah, and right there you got your system. You're good. If you want a cooler, here you go. I'm going to show you a secret to water cooling. Oh, look at that. Alpha Cool Aurora. So let's do Ice Bear. Like, it's a rat. $254. Kiss my you know what. So let's go to their website. Is it gonna bring it back? There we go. We're going on their website. Alpha Cool. We want English. We're gonna do Ice Bear. You know how much this costs on Amazon? Okay, so let's refine it. Ice Bear Aurora. Here we go. Right, they have them here. 360, 420. You can get the 420. Okay, it's $173. But what this has is quick connect. You see here, this one, it just has a straight one to the CPU. But this thing here, you can unscrew that. Come on. You get one of these. Okay. For your graphics card. Screw it in there. And guess what? You just have a full loop. And the beauty of it now is if you change your graphics card, if you change your CPU, it doesn't matter because all you got to do, if you want to service your loop, all you got to do is unscrew these. And as long as you have a piece of paper towel underneath, there's no... I've had blocks fail more than these things, man. So, right there, man. And if you go on... Yeah, Grooveland. It's a German retailer. And let's do Alpha Cool. Let's do Alpha Cool. Okay. But let's do. We want quick connect, right? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Don't let that bear talk. There you go. $15. It's 15 euros. Oh yeah, guess what? It'll ship to Canada for $15. I think if you spend 40 euros, shipping is free. Yeah, that's why I said free. Yeah. So, like, yeah, man. You can't go wrong, man. You know, maybe I'll do a little montage of a system I have with one of these hooked up, man. And you guys will understand what I'm talking about. But that's how you do it. And then you're good. You know, and you're good. You don't have to get the whole loop and everything. You can just get the block and a couple of them cables, man. And Bob's your uncle. Buy a rad. Get one of them Corsair rads for like $80. You can buy a 360 rad from Corsair for $99 Canadian, I think, all day long, and they'll ship from California all day long. all day long. So there you go. Anyhow, YouTube, you guys have a good night. It's Friday. Like and subscribe, and go Canada, go. On Sunday, sorry for all of my American friends, but Canada is going to the World Cup after we defeat the U.S. in the city of Hamilton on Sunday evening. Like and subscribe. Good night.